All right, you guys, let's talk to my main man, Mark from Misery Index, fucking formerly Criminal Element, fucking Scour, so many badass projects, man. I'm a big fan of this dude. You guys are going to love him if you don't already. Mr. Mark.
And now for something completely different.
All right, Metal-O-Maniacs. I am very excited right now because I'm joined by our brother, Mark, from goddamn every project, man. Misery Index, you know, we just talked to Derek from Scour. You're a part of the Scour project. How are you doing, brother? Thank you for joining us today.
I'm good, just shredding away.
I love it, man. I appreciate your time, sir.
Yeah, man.
So, we'll start with this. I just talked with Derek recently about the Scour project, man. I'm loving the fuck out of this Black EP, sir.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a good one for sure. Definitely shows progress in the band. We've definitely become a more cohesive unit. You know, I mean, it's a growing thing. I mean, we're only on a third EP, so but it's pretty cool, man. You know, all those guys, those are, obviously I'm in a band with Adam in Misery Index, and John's his cousin. He's in Agoraphobic Nosebleed, and all those guys, I don't know if he probably went over the story already. They come from the St. Louis scene, so we kind of grew up playing together, playing gigs together in different bands, and so it's been nice to weirdly reconvene in this other project and have it start to take flight.
Well, yeah. Well, it's funny how these smaller scenes start with kind of an almost incestuous relationship. You know, everybody kind of band hops, but then it grows to another level. And I mean, obviously, you guys have reached another level, if you don't mind my noticing. But it's nice when some of those guys from that root thing make it to that next level with you, man. It's kind of a, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's a litmus test. It's an endurance test of sorts.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always a good time when you have friends and stuff from that era that are going along with you, because you kind of have a similar story, and you have somebody to relate to, that in that way. Okay. So it's been cool, man. I think we have a cool story. And yeah, it's been cool.
Let's talk about, how did you become involved in the Scour project? I know you go back with Derek at this point a little bit. Well, like you say, since you come from the same neck of the woods, how did it come about where you ended up in Scour and that became the thing?
Well, I was wondering why I wasn't invited to begin with. You know what I mean? Yeah, they eventually brought me in, and things have been working out pretty good, and yeah, it's definitely a different kind of thing than what I'm used to, because obviously for years now I've been doing mostly rhythm guitar work and doing vocals at the same time. And when you have that central role in the band, when you're trying to be basically the lead character for the show, and you're trying to be the MC of sorts, you can only be worried about so many things at one time and to actually do it well. So it's been really cool to shift over to this project where I'm doing lead guitar work and and just playing guitar and doing backup vocals, and not being obviously who our central character is, and not being that person and not having to worry about emceeing the show. It's a different role, and it frees me up to do some of the other stuff that I can't do otherwise. So it's been really fun to ease into that position.
Right on. Well, and I gotta feel like that's a cool new way for a creative outlet, because let's be honest, it's quite a different sound than what you do with Misery Index as well. I mean, these are
way different
projects here. Yeah.
Vastly. I mean, it's all blast beats and stuff like that, but it's a vastly different style. It requires way different. I mean, besides from the lead work, the playing in general is just way different. It's just endurance trem picking most of the time, with the occasional real hard stop where you gotta be going for 1,000,000 miles an hour to nothing. And also some of those we have some overlays and stuff, call them leads if you want, just sort of melodic passages, the eerie horror movie thing kind of going over the top. And some of those have to be played with a level of precision to get the desired effect. If if you slide in there and you're playing, you accidentally like hit a fret off, or you're not, just picking super fast on them, they don't have the same effect. They don't sound right. So that is just way different stuff for Misery Index, because we have like chunky grooves and some more techie kind of death metal stuff in there, some grind and some other. We do some overlay work too, but it's different. And this Scour is just like it's minimalist, but it's also relentless.
Yeah, well
on
put.
the right, especially.
Well put. I think minimalist it is very stripped down, bare knuckle to your face, and I love both projects. They both have their certainly their features that draw me in. But yeah, the Scour project is a punch you in the face project, my brother. Pretty
Yeah. I'm very proud to be involved with two very extreme sort of metal projects that have their own distinct voice. That's a hard. I feel like, especially nowadays with the internet and just the glut of bands that there are broadcasting themselves, like to be out there and have your own distinct, at least somewhat original voice is very challenging. I talked to Vogue from Decapitated about this a couple of years, like at least 2-3 years ago or something. We were backstage at some fest, and we had discussed that because we had talked about his past few albums and how as time obviously they did Winds of Creation, Nihility in the early stages, and then on Organic and onward, and he was telling me it's like as the albums start stacking up and time goes on, and like we're in this internet broadcast era, he was finding it like harder and harder to be original, like not be sounding like somebody else or biting or copying other styles and things like that. I mean, let's face it, distorted guitar, and there's a lot's been done. And so if you want to be your own thing, man, you really gotta weave in there,
Well, that actually brings me to my favorite part of this interview, man. Where are we with Misery Index, Brian? Talk to me. What's happening?
We're writing. Right now. Yeah. Put over just deep into the writing process, and I'm tossing stuff. We're all tossing ideas and full songs back and forth with each other right now. It's coming together pretty. It's going to be pretty good. Yeah,
I can't wait.
I like it. They like it. So it's like if we all four of us like something, then it's probably going to be good. So I think we got the right the right dudes in the band, of course. Okay. Everyone, when it goes through that democratic process, like we know we're sitting pretty good.
Everybody throws in a hammer until the dents are in the right place, right?
Yep, exactly that. Yep.
Well, how is it creating in this kind of a new environment in many ways, man? How has the creation process been? All right. Is it more difficult to get together? Or honestly, had you already evolved past that before all this?
Yeah, we evolved past that. Like we spent, as far as Misery Index goes, we spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours in jam space. We wrote entire records up until like Heirs to Thievery were done in the rehearsal room. No pre-production, no recording it, no nothing. Like just literally like woodshedding it.
1987 style, baby.
Yeah, where we would get the whole entire record worked out and then go do it. It wasn't until like Heirs to Thievery where we started hitting pre-production hard and getting more of like a listener perspective, and that sort of accelerated that process. And we would still go into the room. And so we still do that. We get whole songs sort of figured out. And like for pre-production, we'll set tempos and things. And Adam's got an electronic kit at home. So he doesn't just dot away or something in a computer. He'll play it in there to make sure that it's reasonable. You know what I mean? And yeah, and we just kind of go from there and fine tune stuff, throwing ideas back and forth. But we spent especially he and I, we spent so many fucking hours like in a rehearsal space, all of us really. And then working on pre-production together and going back to the rehearsal space, that now I know what he's going to play. He knows what I'm going to play. Jason knows what we're going to do. We all know what each other are kind of what's in the wheelhouse, you know, what to expect. We just know these things. And so when I give him a certain kind of riff, he just kind of knows what to do. It's like, and I know what he's going to do already. It's like, so we're writing to each other's strengths already. So I do that. We finish these songs, and then we end up, hitting the rehearsal room. And during the writing process, we'll do that like twice before we go to the studio, just to work out some stuff in person and see what's kind of like, it'd be cool for live, gonna get a different perspective, and then, go from there.
And boom, from there, the stew is made that way. Well,
Yep.
yeah, this project's been going on for, if I'm not 20 years now. Is that right? I mean, I just double checked before I said it out loud because it feels funny to say, but yeah, that's right. 20 fucking years now.
Yeah, and Adam and I joined 2004.
Right.
I joined in 2005 February for their tour with Suffocation and Behemoth. So that was my first tour.
How was that? Yeah, that's a
was
cool fucking introduction.
Trial by fire. Sparky Oils taught me a lot of things. Yeah.
Well, when I ask you to look back now, because let's be honest, at this point you got some pedigree. Excuse all my bells and whistles here, but
that's all right.
You got some road miles underneath you, man. What are some of those highlights that come to mind when I tell you to picture yourself on the road and some of the things you've done? What are some of the first images that pop into your head?
Very first one. Oh, there's two. There's two, and there's a high and a low.
Oh, good. Okay.
I'll start with the high. One of the very first times we played Hellfest. It's one of the early editions of it, and I think there was don't quote me on this, but I think there was about 40,000 people there, and there was a tent stage and two outdoor stages. So the outdoor stage was one over here, and we were on this one over here. And I think I don't remember who was on the other stage. It was like Lamb of God or something, or Korn or something. But something happened where the generator went up and caught fire, and there was a fire department, and they couldn't go on. But our stage was okay. And so I think they had us go on early. So it was there was already people in front of the stage. It was that crowd was split. There's people over there, there's people over here. So when that happened, all those people turned around and just kind of went over to our stage. And so we get on stage to play our, grindcore set, and there's 40,000 eyeballs looking at us. And I just remember throwing the horns up at the end of the set, and the first person to put the horns up was in the very back, a couple football fields away. I see this little hand go, and then I see the rest of them pop up, and it was just. I got off stage and my body almost started hyperventilating on its own. I didn't feel bad or anything. It just it was a lot of energy, a lot of intensity.
Yeah, brother.
So that was cool, and we've had similar situations after that. We went down to Indonesia. We're seeing, and they're just way into death grind down there. So we're seeing our billboards with our faces on it on the highway. Ridiculous, ridiculous stuff. And we've had we've been everywhere, man. We've had a lot of fun adventures and things like that. But one major low, and I think it might have been on that. I don't know for sure if it was on that first tour or not, but it might have been because it was February and we did go to Canada. So I'm pretty sure after we played BB King's in New York, Montreal, I believe was the next day. I could be wrong on that, but it was somewhere around there. And, we were a little band, man. We weren't making anything on that. So we decided to drive all night, cross the border at night when there's not a lot of traffic, so they don't mess with us. You know what I mean? And so we didn't have to buy a hotel or stay at someone's house. So we I'll drive overnight. We don't want traffic. So we drove overnight, crossed the border. We get to, and we were supposed to stay at our friend Eric Galley, kind of a big he's a big dude up there in Montreal, Galley Records, and he was doing some booking up there, and it was 5 in the morning or something. We had to wait until he got up at 6 a.m. and he was going to let us into his apartment. And so we're in Montreal in February, and we're like trying to sleep in the van.
Oh no.
And it's like, 0 degrees. I'm in a sleeping bag. I'm like, and I remember like looking out like the crack in the van door down at the snow-covered road, and this like piercing 0 degree wind just like coming in and freezing my. I'm looking out of there, and
God damn.
So yeah, when I tell other bands about touring, that's usually the first story I tell. It's like, be prepared to do that.
Yeah,
if
man.
You're to do that, you better throw the towel in, because you're gonna have that.
Well, though, once you're on the other side of that, though, man, there's some bones earned, right? I mean, at that point, it's like fucking, we're in the thing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's character building, of course. Yeah. Endurance building.
There you go. Look, yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, that's just part of paying your dues, man. I mean, that's like the the war stories. But yeah, so that's that's one of my most memorable high points and most memorable low points.
That's awesome shit, brother.
Yeah.
That's good shit, man.
It wasn't really a low point either, because I mean, it was my very first tour, and we were killing it, and we were on tour with Suffocation and Behemoth. It wasn't that bad, right. But that moment was like, what am I doing?
That was a survival test, is what that was, brother.
Yeah, for sure.
That's good shit. Just to make sure everybody knows how to follow you guys, I know you guys got your YouTube. The Misery Index has its own thing. The Scour has its own thing. You guys are pretty easy to follow on social media for everybody out there. So all of you Metal-O-Maniacs, get your fucking asses on board. Hit the like button in the appropriate places. Subscribe to the YouTube stuff. Pick up a fucking T-shirt or whatever. Do you guys got a Misery Index merch store?
Yeah, we do. It's on Indie Merch.
Indie Merch, kick ass.
Yeah. Yeah, you can find it. You can search there. Yeah. And of course, and Scour is on Night Shift in the U.S.
Awesome. Oh,
yeah. So you get it from Night Shift, and in the U.S. you can get Scour stuff from Night Shift and Housecore.
I got my Scour gear coming right now, my brother. So
get that Black EP.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I got that already, but I need my gear. So
star-studded. We got Jason Momoa. We got Eric Rutan. We got Pat O'Brien.
Yeah. What was it like to work with Jason Momoa, man? I know you got to go soon, but how cool was that?
I had nothing to do with it.
Oh, really? Okay. Right.
That was all Derek, and he contributed some vocals and basically like did it on his own. It's COVID, so he did it on his own. With his buddy, like, came out there with a Zoom recorder, and he was like screaming through a fence.
That's hilarious, brother.
And, then we got that, and our other homie Ryan mixed black, and so I was in the studio and we got the vocals, and we're just like putting them in and like listen to it, like, this is ridiculous. Wow, what are we doing right now? Mixing Phil Anselmo and Jason Momoa and Eric Rutan and everybody, and like and during COVID, this guy's screaming through a fence. Like, what the hell is going on?
That's very metal, brother. Very metal.
We're making it happen, man.
That's right, brother. No obstacles. No obstacles.
No obstacles.
Brother, I appreciate the fuck out of this more than you know, my friend.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Scour, live from the lair, January 29th. Bring it.
Yeah, you're right.
Hey, this is Mark from Misery Index and Scour, and you're listening to Metal-O-Mania with The Crypt.
First of
Don't get it, Mulder. Does this have something to do with an X-File?
All right, well, we're back here at Metal-O-Mania with my main man, Ronnie B. And, dude, how awesome is Mark, brother?
Dude, I'm seriously stoked about that whole fucking deal.